Mr. Schaub, sorry for your loss. Mr. Schaub.
All right, guys, welcome back to the show. Let's just jump right into it. So last week, Brendan and Brian took the week off from doing the podcast.
The Fine Kid is going dark. Next week, there will be no episodes.
Because Callan had to go to Jerusalem and do a couple of shows there.
Israel, dude.
Israel?
And Jordan. I'm hitting the Middle East.
You're fighting the good fight.
Mr. Schaub.
So during Brendan's week off, Brendan goes to the Normal World show, podcast, whatever it is, with Dave Landau.
Yeah, why don't we invite him on? Comedian, former MMA fighter, Mr. Brandon Schaub.
Yeah.
The Aaron Rodgers thing. You were just hanging out with Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, that's my boy.
Okay. Oh yeah. So the drug thing, is that what you were doing?
Ayahuasca. No, I was out there just to go to dinner with him and Aubrey Marcus, who started on it.
Okay.
I'm really close with Aubrey. I've known Aubrey for like 12 years.
So I did want to ask about this.
Yeah, so we have a project we're starting, the three of us together. And then I was out there for that, but they're like, hey, come to this conference. I didn't know what I was getting into, but it's pretty cool.
Okay, awesome. Brandon Schaub.
Mr. Schaub.
Now, if you don't know who Dave Landau is, Dave Landau used to work for Steven Crowder. And if you guys know Steven Crowder, Brian Callen now works for him. Or I don't know what's going on because I don't watch that show. People are saying he's not working there no more. Other people say he's like behind a paywall. You gotta pay to see him, which is kind of funny.
You know, when you said you were going on Crowder, I thought more.
The reason why Dave Landau left Steven Crowder is because of numerous things. Because of money, because of the way he was treated, because he was disrespected. He felt like Steven was a narcissist. There's a long list that he talks about during his little podcast run, outing Steven Crowder.
It became a little weird because a light was put in where it was his rant button, and it was basically a Dave don't talk button.
I bet you probably think ladies have
Light.
It was his rant button, and it was basically a Dave don't talk button.
You know, it's kind of funny that Brendan went to Dave Landau's show because, you know, I'm guessing Dave doesn't care that Brian Callen took his spot. He doesn't really care. Maybe in a way, like, Brendan is kind of scouting Dave Landau to see maybe if he could take over Callen's spot. Who knows, you know? But he's going to be treated the same way that Steven treated him, as this little sidekick. Basically like a punching bag.
You do what you're told, right?
No.
You get it here from me.
Yeah.
And then you can get on a plane, fly to Dallas. You can get there from Crowder, right?
Really?
Yeah, you're a whipping boy, right?
Why am I twisting my shirt and looking around?
You're like, no, it's not like that.
No, it's not like that.
Like I'm Zed and you're the Gimp in the basement.
Now, I don't know much about Alex Stein. The only time I've acknowledged him was the time that I saw him talk to BGL when BGL exposed Brendan, and it was Alex Stein seems to know his stuff on the Fighter and the Kid subreddit. He knows PF Chang's, he knows the homeless cats, he knows Dicey, he knows the addies and the baddies, everything, right? So he's quite knowledgeable on the lore of Brendan Schaub and the people that don't like him and his ridiculous stories. Here's that clip with him and BGL talking about those ridiculous stories. If you guys can remember, it was when Brendan talked about he was like working at a job at a grocery store, and he was like bored, and so he went to the restroom and he crunched up the magazines and later blamed it on the Down syndrome or autistic kid, which was, you know, dumb.
Brendan told a story that I couldn't even tell. I couldn't even make up a story when he said the story that he worked at a grocery store and that he tore up all the magazines and then he blamed it on an autistic person. I'm saying, if I was to say that in a town hall, if I was to say,
then also the whole gadooshing the roommate.
The classic, he gadooshed his roommate through a glass door because, you know, but
he
it's
ate his food because he ate his food. He threw him to a plate glass because he ate all of his food.
Right. Like, you ate your roommate's food and now you're attacking him? Like,
We're paying your life.
So now let's get to the clip where Alex Stein ambushes Brendan Schaub. Here is the title of this post. Alex Stein 99 gets dicey with Bapa. Alex Stein posts on his Twitter, on YouTube as well. Things get dicey at Brendan Schaub after I crash the Normal World set tonight. At Dave Landau, at QTR Black Garrett.
Yeah, what do you think this is? You pussies! This is it! This is Prime Time 99! I'm the king of this studio. Not these baby back bitches, Dave Landau. Dave, no, this is my place. I'm sick of all these corner black guys coming in here. I brought you guys a gift. You see this? You see this? There's a bunch of gay cigarettes for you guys. There's your gay cigarettes. And look who I'm here. I'm with the man. I'm with the king himself, Brendan Schaub. Brendan, I'm not Roy Nelson. I'm not gonna hurt you. I love you. Things are dicey. We love you, Brendan Schaub is the man. All you PF Chang's homeless cats, F off. This guy's rich and he gets addies all day long, right, Brendan? Tell them they're bitches. You homeless cats can suck our dicks.
Hey, Alex, you have an ad read.
Oh shit.
All right, let's stop it there because that was the most important stuff, most important part. So let's rewind that.
It's rewind time.
I'm not Roy Nelson. I'm not gonna hurt you. I love you.
Roy Nelson. If you guys remember Roy Nelson, he was his opponent for the Ultimate Fighter. Ultimately, he was the loser of that event, and Roy Nelson won all the money and all the contracts for knocking out Brendan Schaub in the most in the most amazing way, or in the most devastating way.
You should be a comedian.
Oh, shoot. It's all over.
Wow. Things are dicey.
Dicey. That's his catchphrase.
Dicey.
We love you. Brendan Schaub is a man. All you PF Chang's homeless cats, F off. This guy's rich.
Brendan Schaub is a legend.
And he gets addies all day long, right, Brendan? Tell them they're bitches. You homeless cats can suck.
The addies and the baddies.
If you wanted to hurt me, you got me, brother. You definitely got me.
You homeless cats can suck our dicks.
If you guys don't know why the people on the subreddit call themselves the homeless cats, it's because of this.
I view those people the same I'd view a homeless guy critiquing my art or critiquing my set or critiquing a podcast. They do not matter. What do you care? It'd be the same as if a cat created a profile.
That's a good example.
Who cares? Even a homeless guy. If a homeless guy was just creating a profile and talking shit, it doesn't matter.
But
They're all the same.
Let's look at the comments. Danny Doofus says, whoa, he named the waters the deepest, darkest waters. Definitely did.
They do not matter.
We're spending your life.
So now, like, I was looking at the comments and to see, like, what did some people think of Alex Stein. Some people don't like him. Some people think he's annoying, but they kind of like this kind of stunt that he did on Brendan to rush him. And it seems like this is the type of things that he does outside in the real world. He's kind of like a comedian. He's known for like harassing people on the street. And one of the people that he harassed was AOC. And I was looking at his videos and I stumbled across it. And yes, it's kind of cringy and it's very, borderline weird. But it is a little funny. In a dark kind of way, it's funny. But it's messed up, So it's hard to like this guy, but people seem to like it when it's Brendan. People are also saying that he has balls. He's got nuts of steel to approach Brendan in that way. But Brendan, I feel like he's not the guy to do anything unprofessional and attack somebody. I'm pretty sure he's not really a fighter like that. He's always said, like, I don't really like engage in fights, so it would kind of make sense he would just take it and be like, whatever, it's dumb.
And he gets addies all day long, right?
Dicey.
And maybe look, this kind of publicity, it gives him views. So here's Alex Stein's YouTube channel. He's got 325 subscribers, almost 330 videos. It seems like there are a lot of like clips from like a longer version video he probably put somewhere else, or maybe that's just it. But I'm not so sure about this guy. Didn't really go into it. I just saw some of his videos. I did stumble upon the AOC video. A lot of his videos are kind of wild, and here's the one that he did with Brendan. Things get dicey with Brendan Schaub. Now, it seems like he likes to attack both sides, which I think that's kind of cool. It's kind of fair. We don't usually see this type of comedian or comic, whatever he might be, a performer, do like these kind of, ambushing or going to town halls and saying ridiculous things.
And we're talking about transportation. I'm here with my wife's boyfriend. It's just ridiculous that you guys are going to persecute him because he's a black man. That's why you guys are doing this. This is why you're bringing so much attention to him. When we walked in here, it was absolutely unreal the amount of security that he went through compared to the amount of security that I went through. And this is my wife's boyfriend. I mean, the things that he does to my wife is incredible. And we're talking about transportation.
And so, like, there's one that's out of pocket with AOC. You know, AOC, if you don't know much about her, she's like, what is she, like a congresswoman? All right, you know what? Let's just watch the clip of AOC.
Shoes. Imagine if you had to go into work every day to a place where everybody wants to date you. And instead of focusing your attention on important things like tree equity, you have to deal with this.
See this guy right there?
See, that's Alex Stein right there.
Right there. When I was walking up, he said, hey, right in front of a Capitol Police officer, said, hey, here's this, look at that big ass, look at that big juicy booty, this Latina, like whatever, you know, all the bunch of racist, sexist stuff.
And when you're on everyone's mind, they start paying attention to your record. Even worse, they start asking you questions. And politicians hate when you ask them questions, especially about their voting record.
All right, so look, AOC mentions a word. Let me go back here.
Look at that big juicy booty.
There's a problem with that word. You know, it's kind of funny because Alex Stein kind of says, hey, I did not say juicy booty. But he did say all those other things. She's a fine-ass Latina. Hey, I ain't denying that. But, yes, does cringy stuff. He does these kinds of things. AOC has been in the radar, you know, during the Capitol riots. If you guys remember, she said this statement that like she was fearing for her well-being because she thinks some of the Republicans or the right wing, they're like infatuated with her, and she thinks they might do the worst thing, you know, the R word. She could have been in trouble if it would have been a real more threatening issue.
I didn't think that I was just going to be killed. I thought other things were going to happen to me as well.
So what sounds like what you're telling me right now is that you didn't only think that you were going to die, you thought you were going to be.
Yeah.
You know, they kind of make fun of her for that. Fox is like, ha, you're stupid, you're ridiculous, you think you're all that. Here's what Alex Stein actually said.
AOC, my favorite big booty Latina. I love you, AOC. You're my favorite. She wants to kill babies, but she's still beautiful.
So, like, look, he says some out-of-pocket things. He compliments her at first.
See, my favorite big booty Latina. I love you, AOC. You're my favorite. She wants to kill babies, but she's still beautiful. You look very beautiful in that dress. You look very sexy. Look at that booty on AOC. That's my favorite big booty Latina.
I want to do a little selfie.
I love it. My favorite AOC. Nice to meet you, AOC. Look how sexy she looks in that dress. Woo, I love it, AOC. Hot, hot, hot like a tamale.
The interaction between them is way different than what she described on her video, on her personal video. Like, she said, oh, like, he was threatening me, but she's like, let's just take a selfie. Kind of weird, right? If you're scared of this man, then why are you going to take a selfie with him? Like, you heard him talk to you earlier and say,
she wants to kill babies, but she's still beautiful.
Then when she's upstairs, she's like, oh, this guy said I had a juicy booty.
Look at that big juicy.
AOC, what are we doing here? But yeah, that's it's a little funny little get from Alex Stein there. Like, and then he's like, I didn't say
juicy
big. I didn't say that.
On her, but I want her to think I'm serious. I want her to think I actually like her. And it's now, did I take it to the line? Yeah. Did I take it across the line? No. She wouldn't claim that I called her juicy ass, and I said, you know, even words. I didn't even say those words.
I don't think that calling AOC a big booty Latina solved or did anything. I was wrong. It actually got her to come out and issue a prominent statement that January 6th was that police officers in the building opened the door. That would not have happened were it not for.
Alex Stein goes a lot to the Republican shows, like internet shows or things like that, because Normal World is Dave Landau, and Dave Landau is associated with the conservatives. I think whenever Brendan speaks, we kind of know he's like Republican. I think he kind of likes to say that he's like in the middle kind of Republican. I don't know. Maybe he's trying to get some people from the right side for him to get a little bit more viewership on his shows or his podcast, get more people. Like, will this work? Are the conservatives going to be aware of who Brendan is?
Brandon Schwab.
Are they ever going to discover the subreddit is the bigger question. Like, who knows? Maybe they might like him. You know, Rumble or Kick or somebody gives him a deal. He's like, hey, man, I've been an OG in this podcast game. I've gotten my 1,000 hours of podcasting, so I deserve a couple millions of dollars. Hey, who am I to say no, Brendan? You don't. The man has survived problems after problems with his podcast, and he's still there.
What's paying your life?
Let's go to the next one. So this is the We Might Be Drunk podcast with Mark Normand and Sam Morrill. So Yanis Pappas and Paul Versi are the guests for this episode, and they talk about Chris D'Elia and how he still manages to sell out tickets even though he's like quote unquote canceled, right? So this is called Oops.
It's over. If it's over a joke, it could possibly inflate, your ticket sales. But if it's over something behavioral, you're finished.
Kind of finished. I mean,
I guess it
D'Elia's got like
depends.
2 sold-out shows at the Beacon.
Who?
Does he? Yes.
After the
Who does? D'Elia. I mean, he's still doing a sold-out
did
theater.
something? Whoa!
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean,
He's not getting the full list of theaters. He's probably got like blacklisted from the really big ones, I assume, because why wouldn't he be doing that? And he's doing these kind of like moderately big theaters because they're probably like, we don't really know, or they don't even know who Chris is or anything about him, or maybe they don't even care about Chris's past because they're like, hey man, he's not in jail. Who's to say that he's doing that, right? Or the things that he's being alleged of he's doing.
Wow. I mean, his fans don't care. Now listen, and it sounds like
He sold out
did
4
that.
shows at a middle school too, which
Yeah,
I thought was a
really.
little weird. But
He's what you call Black Friday shopper. He shows up a little too early to the store. You're like
saying
it's
so
very bad.
There's definitely an overcorrection, but as long as we can realize it's an overcorrection,
That's what we got to do now.
But we should be. I think the guy who gets.
So Yanis here points out that D'Elia, regardless of whatever he did, there are women that are still seeing him. And
correct.
I think all I'm saying is, this is going to sound preachy, but like, get just as angry as the dudes who are maybe still touring and selling out 2 shows at the Beacon.
I'm very angry at that.
You know?
I'm not
angry
going
at
to
that
that
guy.
show. You know who is
Yeah.
going to that show, ironically?
Who?
Ladies.
Yeah. Well, I'm opening.
It's not a neat and clean world.
But yeah.
The
Parents.
boy's mother ended up finding it.
Fucking
Finding
haters.
it? What do you mean? The
Haters.
Snapchat goes away, right? How they?
He probably saved it. You can screen record, take screenshots.
You got to know that that's going to happen.
so let's look at the comments here. Rogue name 1020 says, I've never noticed before, but when DePeto makes the face, and Brian says, you have to know that's gonna happen.
You got to know that that's going to happen.
It seems like Brian is looking right at him, almost like he knew what was up since they had dinner together more than twice. Yeah, if you don't know that reference, that's the day that Chris D'Elia got exposed, and they didn't know what to say. Brendan was like, I can't talk.
I can't talk.
It's just
Brian had his like eyelid surgery, so he had glasses on and his eyes were swelling.
guys, sorry, I'm wearing my sunglasses.
Papa got his lids
had an
done.
operation.
No, you look good.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, you haven't seen my eyes?
No.
Oh yeah.
Quite a crazy scene. Speaking about Brian knowing Chris might have been up to some no good, I mean, there's other examples that the people on the subreddit have pointed out. Like, one good example is Theo Vaughn and Andrew Santino discuss Chris D'Elia and Philia.
And that's it, dude. And somebody said he's been like ordering blood off the internet and all kind of stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ordering blood. He does such strange things with money. We go to this coffee shop sometimes, and they have his order ready before he comes in because he goes all the time.
Yeah.
I said that's really cool, and he goes, yeah, but I take care of them. I said, what do you mean you take care of them? He says, I take care of them. Don't worry about it.
What, child support and stuff?
Yeah, he pays their rent.
See, I mean, look, we can see this as a joke, right? We can be like, oh, it's a joke. It's a little ripping on Chris they're doing.
The 2 girls that work there, he pays their rent, pays for their kids' private schooling.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
What Starbucks worker is sending their kid to private schooling?
Janice over on Sepulveda.
Wow, unbelievable.
He's got too much money.
Dude,
and so this should be a message to your fans. Rob him. Rob Chris. You know, you go see him, pretend you're a fan, go, oh, dude, I love your stand-up.
Yeah.
Psych. Gun out.
Oh, I'm going to dress up like
money
a 17-year-old girl, dude, go into his place, fuck him, and then steal a bunch of shit.
Wait, he doesn't fuck underage girls, though.
No, dude, no.
There, you see that? That's a strange one.
I'm going to dress up like a 17-year-old girl, dude.
It kind of hits a little bit of a magic number there. A lot of people, you know, they try to defend Theo, like saying, hey, maybe he didn't really know. He's just joking, making jokes. And it's because also, like, Chris's gimmick on TV and movies that he does, he's always that character. He's like typecasted in Hollywood as that character. They rip on him like that because that's something that's like widely known. Like, you know, Bert Kreischer being an alcoholic, Joe Rogan doing DMT, Theo Von, known as the Rat King, and you know, he's like, oh, they told me I was born with Down syndrome, but I beat it.
It'll cure Down syndrome, bro. I beat it.
How you beat it?
There was a lot of rumors in my town that I beat Down syndrome.
It's just like, you know, they have their own kind of like characteristics and comedy that can describe him in a way you'll be like, oh, yeah, Bert Kreischer takes off his shirt. And then Chris D'Elia had the worst of all of them, which is the PDF file.
No, but
Which is, actually, that's funny. Chris is so far from being a pedophile.
I'll have just turned 18 that morning.
That was your birthday? Chris is so far from being a pedophile. Everyone should know this on the internet, by the way. He won't fuck someone under 60.
Yeah.
No chance.
No.
I've never seen Chris hanging out with a woman under 60 in my entire life.
He has that 43-year, he stays 43 years outside of possible pedophilia.
Yeah, he loves that.
And that's that 60-year
I think
range.
that's to keep him safe the more famous he gets, you know?
Now, he will doctor...
And you see that now? That was weird.
60-year
I think
range.
that's to keep him safe the more famous he gets.
That was a weird thing that Andrew said there.
Somebody bought that.
Yeah.
They went on him hard, and then they're like, no, he's not. Yeah. He's actually hits. He's actually he goes for the older age range. But then also Andrew said, hey man, I wouldn't even hang out with this guy.
I don't. You know. Do I like Chris D'Elia? You know.
He's like mustard.
Yeah.
He's like mustard.
If it's on there, it's fine. I'll have it. But
yeah, if it's, I'll put it on every.
Yeah,
now
I'll
and
put it
then.
on once in a while. But usually, when I see it, I go, that's gonna annoy me.
Can't believe.
You know, it's a little weird. You can make up your own minds about this, but yes, there's like, there seems to be people being like, hey, like they kind of knew about this stuff. Some of them kind of like knew, maybe. Like they saw things and they were like not really sure, that maybe they were like, hey, maybe that chick looks a little too young. They just don't really say, you know, that those guys, you know, they don't try to call each other out because it's gonna damage their careers.
We're spending your life.
Now, sticking with Theo Von, here's a clip that I saw on the subreddit. It says, PSA, this is a conclusive proof that CTE can be contagious. Always keep a safe distance from Fat Patrick, or at least put on a protective suit before coming into contact. Let's watch this clip of Theo Von looking weird. Last week I said there's something weird going on with Theo, and it seems like Theo isn't sober anymore. He's acting weird, more weird than usual, but who's to say what he's actually feeling at that moment? But this is what they think. It's kind of strange from Theo, like the way he's kind of acting.
He went to South Korea, everybody. He's in South Korea. You can't make this shit up. He's in South Korea, and he's going to miss tonight's episode. But in his place, it is the young man who very well might eventually replace him full-time as a regular on this show. This guy was made a golden ticket winner. 5 penalty on the field. Taking it too far, on red band. 5 minutes of silence. Okay. Out of the bucket a second ago. This is definitely his first time on the show. I would know if I've seen this name before. Make some noise for Matt the
So yeah, that's kind of strange, you know, this like Theo wears glasses, or are these just like fake frames he wears? Because you always just see him without glasses. Every frame is gold. And then this, he just starts moving his hair around.
Taking it
What's
too
that?
far on Red Band. 5 minutes of silence. Okay. Out of the bucket a second ago. This is definitely his first time. Okay. Out of the bucket a second ago. This is definitely his first.
Look at that. Is he messing around with us?
You beat it.
Well, there's a lot of rumors in my town that I beat down syndrome.
That looks like a zombie, man. But hey, who's to say Theo? I mean, Theo could just be all right. He's just goofing around. We don't know that. Here's a comment. Let's go to the comment section, guys. Big Shoot says, he's fucking gooned to the tits here. Shrooms maybe is my guess, and quite a lot of them. If so, I think some addicts will justify doing shrooms as some kind of a spiritual thing and not an escape addiction thing. So who knows where his head's at these days. But I do know this fella don't look too good.
There's a lot of rumors in my town that I beat down syndrome.
Alrighty, guys. I'm about to end this right now. Let me know what you guys thought about this, and leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.
I'm with the king himself, Brendan. Stop, Brendan! I'm not Roy Nelson. I'm not gonna hurt you. I love you. Things are dicey. We love you, Brendan.
Dicey,
Schaub is
dicey.
the man. All you PM trains, homeless cats, F off. This guy's rich and he gets addies all day long, right, Brendan? Tell him they're bitches. You homeless